For months, Senator Tuberville has not listened to his Democratic or his Republican colleagues. He's not listening to those who run our military. He's not listening to former military officials. So we need to stand up for our military and our national security and allow these promotions to move forward, because when our troops are on the battlefield, they don't ask if their commander is a Democrat or a Republican. They just do their jobs.
Senator Amy Klobuchar earlier today on the move to finally end Alabama's Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville's dangerous blockade of military promotions as the Senate Rules Committee voted to begin the process of confirming military promotions as one. The vote, which passed the committee by a vote of 9-7, comes as Senator Tuberville's blockade is angering even his own party, with his fellow Republicans taking to the floor of the Senate earlier this month, attacking Tuberville for damaging combat readiness. It remains to be seen, however, whether those same Republicans will vote to advance the nominations when the vote goes to the full Senate. We are joined now by Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota, chairwoman of the Rules Committee. Senator, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Nicole, and thanks for calling it a blockade, because that's what it is, instead of the antiseptic word hold. He's literally just blockading the entire military chain of command.
I want to ask you two questions, and I know you have some time restraints, so just wave your arms and we'll free you. But we've stayed on this, and what I don't understand is it used to be a circuit breaker when something endangered or politicized the military. That didn't hold. It used to be a circuit breaker when something endangered or threatened readiness. That didn't hold. It used to be a circuit breaker when that bled into combat readiness. That happened and that didn't hold. A heart attack has happened from someone doing two jobs impacted by the blockade. And there are attacks. There is a hot war in the Middle East, and American military outposts and installation and personnel are targets. And that didn't hold. What is the systemic fix for someone that can endanger all those things?
Thanksgiving tables. I think you're going to see military families all over this country discussing this, boiling up over this. In our hearing room, we had a number of military spouses there, some of whom they don't even know where they're going to live. There are spouses who've left their jobs waiting. There are things in storage. There are parents and grandparents and grandmas and grandpas that are in assisted living, and they don't know where they're going to be because they go with their military member. This is a complete diss of our military, and I do believe that that in the end is going to change this. The fact that we got the 9-7 vote, and while we didn't have Republicans joining us on this vote, we had some tempered language. We didn't have amendments. Senator McConnell clearly left open the possibility of working this out. Senator Schumer indicated his intent to bring this to the floor, but still giving them a few weeks to work this out, because in the end, as you know, Nicole, we need 60 votes, right? We have 51, so we need 9 Republicans. Those certain Republicans who have been outspoken are not on the Rules Committee, unfortunately, but they are out there talking about this now publicly, what they used to say quietly behind closed doors. I believe those are the reasons in the end we're going to get to this, because you can just keep going. They're holding up CyberCon commander. They're holding up the head of the fleet over the Persian Gulf. They're holding up the air commander in the Pacific. It just goes on and on.
How do you make sure that when the country chooses its leaders next November, they know who didn't just abandon the military, but actively sought to harm them, the Republicans?
Well, I think they've got to look at that vote today, and then they've got to put the pressure on now. Because while I do believe that people are going to remember this, I believe it's also important that we just get this done by the end of the year. And the only way that we can do this is by getting 9 Republicans to come and join us. The fact that they're outwardly talking about it now matters, but in the end, if we don't get it done, it's just going to get worse and worse. Those 350 plus that are held up, it's going to be over 700 by the end of the year, Nicole. If we were to vote on each one individually, we literally would have a shutdown. We wouldn't be able to vote on anything else, not the farm bill, not the budget, not the defense bill. The Republicans know that, and they just have to come to join us if Tuberville isn't going to move. And every sign is he's not going to move.
Senator Amy Klobuchar will stay on this story. Thank you for joining us to talk about it.
Nicole.
We'd love to come back to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mark McKinnon, you write the ad. I mean, Republicans endanger combat readiness. Are you kidding me? And here's the thing. The Democrats are so committed to governing that she wouldn't levy any political attacks. But if the shoe were on the other foot, you can bet your last dollar there would be billboards and ads everywhere.
Well, this is where I miss John McCain, right? And Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, anyone. I mean, the Republicans have always stood up so strongly for the military. And for this to be happening on the one hand, but also to be, which is a sort of a violation of everything Republicans have stood for, but to do it on an issue which is just trying to offer women simple rights in the military that they should have. So it's not, he's going to the cross on an issue that is very popular with most Americans. So he's just clawing his way to the bottom in a way that has no political upside for Republicans, for sure.
And how do you communicate that to the country?
Oh, listen, I can make that ad in my sleep. I can make that ad. I mean, that's so easy that to just lay out what happened. You don't have to be that creative. Just say that when Republicans get the chance, they compromised our military readiness for the focus of one man that stood in the way of the entire country.
And you can, not that I ever meddled in your ad making genius, but you could use the footage if you wanted to of the Republican senators on the floor. I mean, Dan Sullivan, I mean, they laid into him.
Yeah, exactly. And but the best thing in any advertising is just the authenticity of people speaking in their own words.
I know.